Welcome to Nicole Longnecker Gallery. I'm Nicole Longnecker and I'm here with my artist today, John Adelman. John, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
We're very excited to have John be represented by the gallery, and we'd like to talk a little bit about one of our favorite pieces here today. So, John, this piece is very interesting and has an interesting backstory. Can you tell us a little bit about your process and how you did this piece and a little bit about your process overall?
The piece is called Ma Deuce Deuce Deuce. The Ma Deuce is the sort of field name for the M2 50 caliber machine gun. And this is 4 of those machine guns put together. And the Ma Deuce being a single one, then doubled, which is deuce, and then that double being deuce, hence the title Ma Deuce Deuce. And what I did was I downloaded the owner's manual for the gun itself and took that apart piece by piece, literally cutting up every single part of the gun, placed it back into its original position, and then traced the individual parts one by one, ultimately comprising the 4 separate guns themselves.
Very interesting. So, John, this piece is such a departure from some of your other work that I've seen and other work that we have here in the gallery. Can you tell us why you ended up doing this particular, this is the second one in the series, correct? And tell us why you picked this to do.
Originally, the story has it that I had a commission from an individual who wanted just a single 50 caliber machine gun. And so when I was doing that, I wanted to, go from something more than just a single piece. The reason why she wanted the single 50 caliber machine gun was because she was doing reporting in Pakistan, and there were 3 gentlemen watching her as she was walking through the streets. And one of the gentlemen had AK-47, one had an RPG rocket launcher, and one had a 50 caliber machine gun. And the 50 caliber machine gun was trained on her the whole time, so they sighted her the whole time. And the 3 guys were just laughing while she was doing it, as she was walking. And she, being a journalist and a photographer, took a picture of it. And so she wanted to memorialize that event with just a single machine gun. My relationship with the gun itself, I wasn't interested in it from a gun standpoint because I like to do objects where people don't have an immediate relationship to. Most people have an idea, thought of a condition that they base their ideas on when it comes to guns. And I like more neutral objects like birds' nests or just buildings. And so I wanted to take the gun and depart from the single entity as much as possible, and therefore I repeated it 4 times in much more of a design orientation than a content-laden context piece.
Well, given that this is obviously a loaded subject, and you've had a lot of people look at it and talk to you about this piece, what kinds of conversations are you having with viewers, and what are they saying about it?
It's interesting because, as I do the pieces, of course I know what they are from the original, but I get this with a lot of pieces, but this one's been really extraordinary because people will see almost everything else imaginable before they see the gun. A lot of people will see the bullets here first as lipstick, and I always think that's kind of an interesting one because where do you see that much of a rail of lipstick? And me being a guy too, that's a little bit weird. But the other things that people are seeing are like runways to an overhead view of an airport, alien creatures in it, satellites, a lot of different, ways that people can interpret it their own way. And as long as that's a way that they get into the piece, I'm okay with that. And I usually will try to, point out little things. One time, one lady was looking at it and she said, "Oh, it reminds her of a belt." And I'm like, well, there is actually a belt in there, even though it's the belt for the rail of bullets as opposed to, a physical sort of apparel item. And so, we could talk it out, and eventually they come and they start to see it for what it is. But I'm okay either way, whether they come to it and see something totally different and new into it, or they're dead on to what exactly I have interpreted as.
So since this was a commission piece, do you see yourself doing more pieces along this lines, or moving back towards some of the other work that you've been doing?
Every time I kind of venture out into something more, it always just sort of expands the body of work. I never eliminate something. I think I might be done with some parts of the body, but I come back to it time and again. And even right now, I'm actually doing a series. So far, it comprises 6 drawings of just a dismantled Nerf gun. So one that shoots the Nerf darts. So it has actually come from just that single piece now into a much larger series of pieces.
Fantastic. Well, John, thank you so much for giving us a little more insight into this piece and a little more insight in about your work.
Thank you.
And everyone, thanks for joining us today. You can come see John's work at the gallery, Nicole Longnecker Gallery, 2526 Colquitt Street. Hope to see you soon.